welcome back to Dadulthood. I've been desperately trying to do weekly videos, but I don't know how other YouTubers do it. It is absolutely impossible. So also holding down a full-time job, trying to get this done as best I can. I've had a lot going on, and as you can see, the upstairs is changing quite a lot into my man cave and sort of Dadulthood HQ. I'll show you around another time, but essentially there's a lot going on. I have changed over, so a couple of things I wanted to bear in mind. I have changed over my editing software, and I know that's not an excuse for slow videos being put up, but I moved from Clipchamp from Microsoft, which is utter garbage, through to Adobe Premiere Pro, which is amazing, but I need some skills in that, which I don't currently have. So please bear with me as I'm putting those up. We've got a lot going on. We've got Frank downstairs. There's the actual unit that we're trying to kind of renovate. And also we have an additional car as part of the team, which I'll show you a bit later on, a bit of a sneak preview. We will be doing a full video on that a little bit later on, but for the time being, I'm going to keep it under wraps. We've also been busy, so while I was waiting for Frank to turn up, we put together our shop. So if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that by buying bits and bobs from the shop, which I'll show on the screen now. We've got as all the kind of normal YouTuber stuff really, so hoodies, caps, stickers, all that kind of stuff. And if you've got an L405 with keyless entry, buy one of my stickers. It's guaranteed to work, except there's no actual guarantee. I came up with an idea of putting a sticker on your car that says keyless go has been deactivated, bugger off. And then I would suggest, obviously, you deactivate keyless go if you've got an L405 with that. I don't think the L322s came with it. Maybe the late ones did. If they did, buy a sticker for that as well. So yes, all the random stuff I've been doing while I've been waiting for the car to turn up back from Germany. But now it's here. I've had a chance to crack on, get the alternator worked on. I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. So that's not quite out the car yet. That's not been an easy thing to do. But we are well underway. And I've still got some other work that needs to take place on Frank as well, like the diff. So again, I'll tell you about that a little bit later on. I want to do one little bit of post feedback actually, was I mentioned about AA European cover. And as much back when I broke down, and as much as they were great picking me up, one of the things I wasn't happy with at the time was that they didn't cover my flights home, or because I didn't have any return travel booked, they wouldn't pay for that. Now that's not right, so I retract what I said there. That's what I was told on the phone, but actually when I got back to the UK, I filled in a claim form for my flight, for the bus, for taxis, and a certain percentage of my accommodation when I stayed at Heathrow on the way back as well, and they paid the whole lot within about 3 or 4 days, which was amazing because they weren't even going to respond. I think it was 10 days to even respond or something like that, but they paid it immediately. So absolutely, they do cover that. So definitely AA European cover, fantastic product, and I will be renewing that as well. I got 12 months, I think, for about 380 quid. So it's paid for itself already. The cost of shipping Frank back would have been pretty dear, I would imagine. So I'm sure it's paid for itself twice, 3, 4 times over already. Well worth getting that. So for the time being, I will show you downstairs and what I've been doing down there. And yeah, we'll see you in a moment. So as you can see, it's a bit of a tip at the moment, but we've got quite a lot going on. A lot of my stuff is now over here. So I've got it out of my garage at home. I've got it out of my office at work, much to everyone's happiness. And I've managed to get a bit of time where I've been able to start working on Frank, which has been absolutely brilliant. The stuff you'll notice, I suppose, we've got the flooring down, so I'm really happy with that. This is that plastic vented flooring that you can actually get. I got a really good deal on it, to be fair. I spent ages trying to find a good deal, and eventually I had found the right one on eBay, put it in my basket, left it there for a couple of days, and then they gave you a deal. So perfect. So I've got quite a lot of that down. That went down really quickly. Me and Arlo got that down, and I'm really happy with that so far. It's comfortable enough to kneel on, better than kneeling on cold concrete. Frank has rocked it up a little bit down here, but I think it's just where I turned the wheel. But otherwise, that flooring is great. I've left here is over here, because this is where I'm going to want to be putting the lift. So eventually cars won't be held here, they'll be pushed further back. So we've got everything in, well, not everything, but most of my tools are now in. Both the toolboxes are in, which is great, which means I've got the majority of my tools here. And there is still some room. Managed to get a cupboard up. This was donated by my neighbour, Howden's Kitchens. I've got another couple over there as well, still under wraps, which I need to install. So I got this from Howden's from across the road. They're my neighbours there. I literally went across there and said, look, have you got anything you're chucking away? I could do with some cabinets to pop on the wall. And they said, yeah, actually, we've got some going in the skip. So they can't be sold. They're literally going to be dumped off. This one had a bang in the back there. The other one is something similar. It's got a bit more of a bang in the back down there, but again, doesn't really bother me. And I've not even seen what's wrong with this one yet. Actually, I don't think there's a great deal wrong with it. Either way, they're expensive kitchens, and obviously if you're buying an expensive kitchen, you want them to be perfect. So they were going to dump them off. So I'm very grateful. Thank you very much, Howden's, for that. I've also become quite good friends with Screwfix. They're probably the nicest people on earth. There's a great team here over in Devizes. They've been really, really helpful. Very, very friendly as good neighbours, offering me coffee and all sorts. So they've been lovely. So what's next? So Frank has been worked on. So this isn't a particularly easy project. As I mentioned, I think probably in a previous video, we are changing the alternator out. And the alternator in this car is not particularly well positioned. It is all the way down there, look, right in the heart of it. So I am doing a video on this, so I shan't ruin it. Suffice to say, it's an absolute pain in the backside to get it out, so I haven't done it yet. The great news is I did accidentally find, from a little bit of Googling, a company up in Gloucester called Starter Bay, a chap called Sam. I got in touch with him and basically said, look, the L405 alternator runs at 220 amps. If I were to buy a 220 amp, is there somewhere we could get it, you know, working on an L322? He went away, did some research, said, yep, I can do that. And within a couple of days, he messaged me to say, I've got a brand new alternator, I've done the work, he's really happy with it, it looks almost factory. So the L405 runs CAN bus to the alternator, so it's a single connector, whereas the L322 has 3 connectors. So he's basically done it in a way that allows the L322 to make use of an L405. I've got to get this one out. I've got to go up to Gloucester, pop it up there. We're going to transfer the pulleys across. Hopefully they're the same spindle, but we're going to find out in another video, and get that back down on here and onto the car. While we're working on this end of the car, we have got an exhaust blow, which I think is from the bottom of the manifold. I don't believe it's anything else, but I will have a look at that when I have an opportunity. Last but most definitely not least is this repeating problem of my diff. So I still am having an issue with my diff back here, even though it was all replaced along with the transfer box. My rear diff is still making a god-awful noise. So I am back in touch with KJ Parts, who did the rebuild on it. Their mechanic is off sick at the moment, but I will be getting back in touch with them. I'm gonna have to get it off again and get it sent up to them, and they're gonna have a look at it for me. So bit of a pain, that one, but I don't really have any other choice. Other than that, Frank is reasonably well put together. There's not a great deal else I need to do in the meantime. So, what else is new? Well, we have got a bit of a surprise. I'm going to do a bit of unwrapping, and then I'll take you outside to show you our latest member to the Adulthood team. Well, have you guessed what it is? If you thought it was a Toyota Land Cruiser, you were wrong. If you thought it was a highly modded out 1993 Range Rover Classic, you would be right. It's not even easy to unwrap on my own. Well, the wind was very helpful there, look at that. So there we go. So I always wanted a classic. This isn't quite what I was expecting when I bought one. Sight unseen. 1992. Pretty modded out. Hand painted in red enamel. Nothing less. What do you think? So shall we have a quick look around? What a crazy thing this is. Let's do the outside first. So as you can see, it's not all too standard. We've got a lot of checker plate down here. And on the bonnet. Everyone loves a bit of checker plate. We've got checker plate on the sides, aftermarket LED indicators. Fabbed out steel front bumper. Massive winch, decent winch actually, Parker brand. LED headlights, more spotlights. It's been given a lift. I'd say it's probably a 4-inch lift. I haven't actually investigated too much. I'm not sure what the wheels are either, but it's heavy to push, I'll tell you that much. And then to the back, similar story. Utility spots. I think it's even got, it has, it's got a little beacon on the top, LED beacon. Auxiliary reverse lights, weird LED lights again. Steel fab bumper, I'm not sure that's I think that is actually a standard Range Rover Classic bumper actually, but with the corners taken off from what I remember, but I can't honestly remember. Tow bar and electrics, although, yep, there's electrics on there as well, which is handy. So yeah, it's quite a unique looking car, isn't it? Now, there is a reason I bought it. Not only did I kind of always want a classic, this one was going cheap on eBay. I wasn't actually looking to buy a car, like happens most time when you're buying stuff, especially when you're explaining it to your wife. But I saw this. It went for sale, cheap. Now, obviously, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I'd say it's a bit of an understatement, but it's what you couldn't see was the reason I actually bought it. Now, the chap I bought this from, who's been very upfront with all the stuff he's done, must have spent thousands, because what this doesn't have is rust. Now, I know it's my famous last words, but what I mean by that is he's done all of the framework and bodywork, all the sills, the mounts, everything. It's completely rebuilt underneath. That on its own is massive, these classics, because you can, as a friend once said, if you listen carefully you can hear these rust, which I thought is probably about right. But it's got literally new shocks, springs, exhaust, everything has been redone. I mean, he must have spent thousands on it. So although it's not the prettiest thing in the world, as a base to start a project from, it's absolutely ideal. Now, not only that, look at that interior. It's the fact that it's got hand painted seats at the back as well, which is rather nice. The beautiful thing about this is that I can't really go wrong, in the sense that I get to learn to do new things that I wanted to do, that I'm maybe a bit fearful to do on Frank, because actually Frank's in pretty good shape. So I've not wanted to like tear it apart. This thing I can do pretty much whatever I want, and I can't really make it look any worse. And I mean that with the utmost respect from the chap I bought it from. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that. So it's a completely like open book, blank page, sorry, so to speak, for me to do whatever I want to do with it. So that's really handy for me, because that's kind of what I was looking for. So I imagine your next question is, yeah, but how bad is that engine? Well, this has got the 3.9. This is a 1992 J plate with a 3.9 EFI. Right, oh, I think it's already popped. This is where it might surprise you, and I might also have to put it down. This has also got a completely rebuilt engine, which took me really by surprise. I mean, the amount of time and effort that the chap has spent on this is unbelievable. The batteries are out, so if you saw my battery recharging, really boring video I put out the other day, this is where they're from. The small one is from here, the larger one is from here. I was very careful not to say what car it came from, but yeah, this has been completely reworked. There is a catch, obviously, because you can't spend as little as I did, and I will share with you how much I spent on this. There is a catch, and the catch is it doesn't run. So it does crank. Oops. It does crank, but it doesn't start. Now, the chap I bought it from thinks it's an immobiliser problem, or an alarm problem that's got on there, which I will have a look at. It is an aftermarket alarm. I've been on the forums and had a look. It's aftermarket, and most people just say, trace it back, rip it out, get rid of the whole problem in the first place. So I'll do that, but it does crank, and it cranks strong even with a practically completely dead battery and a booster. So that is going to be our next project. It is going to be a formidable project, as you can imagine. We had a couple of names ready. As you know, we name everything. Behind me we've got Van Diesel, Frank in the garage. This is going to be called Clifford. Clifford, the big red car. Now, that was my son's idea. They named Frank, so it's kind of, now it's become custom for them to name the cars. So this is going to be Clifford. Clifford and Frank. So that is kind of a brief insight into our next project. And I'll be doing some deep dive videos coming up very soon, because I want to try and get it working. I have bought some bits and pieces to get it started, and we'll do that in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. So thanks again for joining me at Dadulthood. Really appreciate you coming back. If you're new to the channel and you like this kind of content, you want to know more about the four-wheel drives, you want to know more about the Range Rovers themselves, or what I'm doing here, and then my next project, and then there's plenty more to come, including the bikes, which I'll be bringing across as well. Please do consider subscribing. It's free of charge, and it does a world of good for me. We're up nearly 600 followers, so we're aiming for 1 million. We've got to aim high. But I'm really chuffed to bits with how many we've got at the moment. But please do subscribe, like, share. Please post as well. I always try to respond to everyone's posts as much as I possibly can. I really appreciate your feedback. It's always really super positive. But even if you've got something negative to say, feel free. I'm quite thick-skinned. But until next time, thanks very much.